I'm out here seeing things. Magnificent day here, late February. Nice big stone entrance gate here. And I like to come in through the official pathway that they installed recently. This little gravelly path. Very nice. 1847. High-end cemetery. Actually got security people going around. A lot of historic graves in here. And you won't believe the change in the foliage and the appearance of this place in the spring. It's filled with flowered trees, and I mean, they do incredible landscaping here year round. There's exotic trees from around the world. So another, I'd say, 6 weeks, certainly 10, 12 weeks, once it starts getting to be late April, early May. That's really when the buds come out here. Late April, the buds are out. By May, the leaves are out. So by mid-April, which is about 6 weeks away, there's plenty of color here, and 4 weeks after that, it's in full bloom. But I prefer all the buds and flowers on the trees. They just look amazing. So this is still newer content over here. In fact, quite a lot of this is empty. Quick look over here. A bit of wind kicking up. This is some kind of a military marker, I guess. Let's see. It's been a little while since I've walked over to this thing. So a long list of people here. And these stones are wet, so I guess it rained this morning. I didn't catch it, but everything's a bit wet. And let's just see if this large stone says anything. I don't think it does. It's this kind of giant stone here in the middle. No, I don't know what this is. I don't recall. Could be military. There's a lot of lists of people here, but it doesn't mention any affiliation. Just in memoriam, and then lists and lists, and a lot of recent departures there. Get some military graves across here. Again, fairly new stuff. Landscapers are out as usual. I can see them in the distance. of these trees are labeled. Here's one such. I'll just take a closer look so you can get a sense. Hinoki, what does this say? I don't know, something in Latin. False cypress, Hinoki false cypress. Beautiful texture on the bark there. And so a lot of trees are like this here, labeled. Quite the tree garden. So they definitely have an accounting of what they've got here. Here's another big, beautiful tree. Let's just see what this thing is. Dawn redwood. I can get that. There it goes. Dawn redwood. Not a giant redwood like out west, but a redwood nevertheless. Beautiful day for this, really fantastic for February. A little hazy. Okay, back again. Once in a while this gimbal resets itself and starts pointing at the ground on this particular mode that I have. If I ever try to point it upwards, then all of a sudden it reorients. And a bit of an annoying feature. Still haven't worked out which settings I want on here. This seems to be the best one in general, but once in a while it betrays me and I've got to reset it. Not a big deal. It's just trying to make these with no particular large amount of editing later on. I just want to capture and post, make it as raw as possible, but I can't have it pointing at the ground. That will not suffice. So just want to do a little set here. I remember who is where. It's big, you know. I can miss certain stones that I'm aware of very easily. I really love the various cypress trees here. I'm not exactly sure. Sawara, Camasiparis. Don't know. Latin names for the plants. Maybe somebody out there knows. But beautiful landscape gardens here, nice and hilly. A little damp right here where I'm walking. And there's wild turkeys here. I can actually see some on the horizon. They're a little skittish. They will take off a bit as I come around, but I'll see if I can cut them off at the pass and then you get a bit of a look at them. So a little gaggle of turkeys. Actually, there's several groupings here. Pretty common that I run into them. And sure enough, here they are. Not happy with my presence. There's a guy over here by the tree. A couple of them, little pair. They tend to hide out a bit. There he comes. Very cute. Looking good. Nice and iridescent leaves. Blue head. Blue and red. Don't seem to be so bothered by me today. I don't know. Kind of going in circles. Maybe a little perturbed by me. Very cute. Oh, they're coming right up to me. This is rare. They think I've got some food, maybe. Yeah, I don't have anything for you. You guys going to attack me? I hope not. You're awfully close. Much closer than you've ever come before. Beautiful. Here comes a third one following. They look fantastic in the sun with the iridescent feathers. You guys are great. Maybe because I'm talking. I'm not usually talking. They think I'm talking to them. It was beautiful. I made the full show here with those iridescent feathers. A little squawking. I guess it's springtime. They're a little more gregarious than usual. I've got one right behind me freaking me out a little bit. They're fantastic. It was unexpected. Here comes this other guy back again. I'll let them wander off in the shadow. And this guy's picking for bugs, picking for worms. Those old dinosaur noises. This guy over here. Here he comes. Beautiful. Look at that. Orange and green coming out in the feathers. Fantastic. What a creature. Somehow there's a train. That's across the river. Clarion call from across the way. That's the other gaggle. They are across. Man, there's got to be a dozen of them out there. A lot of turkeys here. Let's go take a look. This one's ruffling his feathers near me. Let's see what they're up to. Ruffling their feathers, shaking the dust off. It's springtime. They're going to be getting ready to mate as spring dawns. Oh, there's got to be a dozen of them. There are so many. I don't want to freak them out with sudden movements, but there's a lot of turkeys here. Hanging out in the bushes. See if I can pass through this grouping here. But as I was telling you, there's just a bunch of them. Okay. These are smaller. A lot of these are smaller. Maybe females. Look at them all. Some of them lying down. Quite the gaggle. This guy's coming over here to my right, checking me out. Turkeys crossing the road here. Turkey action. My goodness. You guys, I've never had them surround me like this before. It's a little freaky, to be honest. Yeah, so some of them have the big red heads. I guess those are the males. I have no idea. Most of them have some red around their head. Some of them have a lot. I guess that's their crop. Fantastic. Alright, I'm going to leave you guys. Carry on with my cemetery walk here. But you enjoy your day in the sun, as it were. Okay. Now, that was cool. If I get to the shore, we could see the train on the other side, but it's probably just a small. You usually come by with about 6 or 8 cars. Manufacturing is not what it used to be around here. And I'm surprised it runs at all. No one of note yet that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm sure there's been a couple. I really like these stones up here. They have a very nice kind of Celtic quality. Maybe a bit Art Deco. The Frederick Moseley Sackett, Franklin Page Sackett, military honors. Quite a lot of naval content here. Sailors of various kinds. Got a big anchor up here. Let's see what this is about. Fletcher, William Ames, Canterbury, England. Charlotte Moreton. So, this is big cross and anchor. Sullivan Dorr, Ames. Sullivan Dorr, Ames. I don't know who these folks are, but Dorr is Thomas Dorr, I think is his name, is buried here. He's a former governor and also more well known for the Dorr Rebellion, where he led some kind of an insurrection in the state. And he didn't fare too well. He ended up getting imprisoned over that. But he's here somewhere. In fact, over here, I see an old governor. This is a fairly prominent marker here, statue and family plot. So the governors you can spot pretty easily because they don't always have the flags on there. There's just a lot of governors in here. But they will have a certain flag. Big round state flag, and this guy has it all. This is Henry Lippitt. Governor Henry Lippitt. Let's get the Rhode Island flag, let's get the American flag. 1875 to 1877. And there's also, of course, this big statue. Look at the whole 9 yards here. And he's pretty well known anyway because his mansion is open for tours over on the east side of Providence. The Lippitt House or Lippitt Mansion is just a beautiful 19th century building, all in its original glory, or restored glory anyway. We may see that train yet. We're getting close. But it's not quite open. It doesn't have like regular hours. Maybe it used to back in the day, but now it's sort of by appointment only and that kind of thing. But here we have the Nightingale family plot. Not Florence Nightingale, though. I don't know if they're related. We also have Jenks. There's a Jenks Street. It's a very steep street in Providence. But Samuel Nightingale, born in Braintree, his house is visible on Benefit Street in Providence. Horatio Nightingale. And there's some other Nightingale stones here, so we'll see extended family around here. They've got trash cans here. You can't beat it. I often, have my coffee. I didn't bring a coffee today, but it's nice to be able to throw it away and not have to carry the empty the whole time. But as you can see, beautifully landscaped, benches of all kinds, little water features. We've done some seeding and raking over here. It's a little early, but they've done it. So you've got kind of a drainage area that goes and forms a pond here. Obviously not operational in the winter. And now we're coming to the eastern edge of the cemetery, overlooking the Seekonk River. This is where that 10-mile river dumps out, but on the opposite shore. So we're in Providence. We're going to be looking east towards East Providence onto technically Phillipsdale, which is a small enclave of Rumford, which is an enclave of East Providence. East Providence has Rumford, and it has Riverside, but it's, a fairly large town for Rhode Island, and it's all collectively East Providence, and that's where that train is running. I can still hear it honking in the distance, but I think it's out of sight. But it wouldn't have been much to look at from here anyway. I will just show you where that would have been. You can start to see the water down there. So a bit of an overlook here onto the water. And an interesting stone right here. We have George Corliss, who had the Corliss steam engine. So, this area being prominent for the American Industrial Revolution. They first built the mills on the rivers, on the Blackstone River in particular, which is essentially upstream from here, from the Seekonk. Serving God in his life and with his wealth, serving men with a kindness that was both careful and generous. By the gift of God, he increased magnificently, as an inventor, the world's resources in the use of steam machinery. The spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. That's a good one. Good quote. 1817 to 1888 for George Corliss. He's got his family plot here with a nice view of the river, though these trees are a bit gnarly to see through. That's where the train would have been running across the river down there. That's Phillipsdale Landing. I don't know what we can see. So a bit of a drop down there. And to some degree, the cemetery does go all the way to the edge of the water. I'm not going to go down there, but there are some stones down there, just to the north of us. So yeah, you can see an old 1800s factory and newer factory in front of that. Not even a factory, really warehousing. And they're redeveloping all of that, of course, into apartments. There's no more manufacturing here, and what little bit of warehousing is going on is going to get pushed out. This real estate is too valuable, this waterfront content. So as you can see, basically, let's say it used to be on the railroad track. So even though the railroad track is still going there, its days are numbered. And I'm sure that will all just get converted into bike path, which I'm not really a fan of. Rails are incredibly expensive to develop, and it would be better if they would use them for public transportation. And if you want to put a bike path alongside of it, I guess you can do that. But to tear up that expensive infrastructure just seems ridiculous to me. Nevertheless, it will happen. It is inevitable around here. So some downed trees. This place will be ready for its spring cleanup fairly soon, I'm sure. People do drive around here. You'll see cars milling around like, this is a park. People really do use this one. This is not like some other grave cemeteries that I visit, which are bereft of people, bereft of visitors. This is the Grosvenor family plot with these alabaster stones, some intricate carvings on here, although this one's quite eroded. That one didn't last in the rain. Oh. Interesting looking. Yeah, the whole set is sort of alabaster, so it does stand out. We've got these slabs. Whole family. I don't know who these folks are. There is a Grosvenor Street in East Providence. I feel like it's a somewhat common name. Kind of an unusual pyramid here. See a governor on the hill. Let's go check that out. I'm not sure who that is. Not sure if I visited this one before. Looks like they've been out putting the Rhode Island flags on them because they were in here last time. Royal Taft. Another 1800s one, I'm sure. Yeah. So, RCT, 1823 to 1912. So, pretty good lifespan there. Almost 90 years. And he was governor in 1888 to 89. Royal Chapin Taft. I certainly don't know anything about him. But no doubt, they have descendants still in this area. That's not that long ago, 130 years, maybe 3 or 4 generations, 5 generations now. Looks like we've got another one up ahead here. Let's see who this one is. Here comes the train again. This is a beautiful stone. Theodore Francis Green. This is a little hard to see in the shadow, but that's T.F. Green of T.F. Green Airport. And he is not so ancient. He was governor 1933 to 1937. When was he alive? 1867 to 1966. So he lived to be 99. That's pretty old for that time period. So the Greens and Burgess, Eleanor Burgess, daughter of Arnold Green. So Burgess and Green family plot next to a very large stone of Samuel Arnold. There's a lot of Arnolds around here. This is kind of a Newport family and a Connecticut family. I mean, depending on exactly who these folks are and who they're related to. But there are Benedict Arnolds, who predate the famous one, his father and grandfather. These were early governors of Newport. And Newport was, I guess, its own capital of the state. At one point, the State House used to be down there. So as I was seeing from Bridgham, I'm forgetting his first name now, but he was the first mayor of Providence. That was 1832 to 1840. You know, sometimes when I'm doing these things, I won't calculate perfectly. I'm a little busy just sort of looking around and reading stuff and just, you know, a little checking the camera once in a while. And I may mess up dates or whatever. You can always leave something in the comments. Or if you want to expand on information, anybody I come across here, that's always welcome. And, you know, I don't mind being wrong once in a while. I may say the wrong thing. It's an interesting aspect of the human mind anyway, that we, you know, if we're familiar with something, we're just kind of filling it in quite a lot with what we already know. A lot of our information is based on, and our understanding is based on what we already know in our subconscious mind, and sometimes that changes what we see right in front of us. This is a beautiful staircase. This is emerald plants, and I really love this spot. It's just this kind of 19th century looking landscaping. Really beautiful. Makes you feel like you're in a Maxfield Parrish painting or something, or a pre-Raphaelite scene. Parrish is more Art Nouveau. Just coming up this little hill here, which is freaking my gimbal out a little bit. It's having a hard time with the horizon, but fucking hell, that was no fun. That's too slippery to climb just to look at some governor. Fortunately, I didn't get too wasted there in terms of muddiness. Most of that went to my feet, but I did carve up the hill pretty good there. Well, that's what springtime cleaning is for. I leave that in. That was pretty funny. I just totally abandoned that governor after that. I'm like, screw it. Oh God. Yeah, that was too steep. This ground is much too mushy. There's a bunch of nice stones over here. I gotta get a look at these. It's all kind of marbly stones, although we're looking into the sun, but it creates kind of a interesting silhouette on the hill. These are nice. So, a lot of branches of different cemetery roads here that one can take, and it can be difficult to find particular stones. There's just this sort of large section in the middle, and you know, if I go to the right, it's gonna go downhill towards the river, and that's a nice section unto itself. But you can't do that and then see all the stuff up here. You know, it's a beautiful hill, and there's just hills and dales here. It can take a long time to go in and out and see all the different spots. So I'm just going to kind of cut up the middle here and see what I see, knowing now that if I'm going to venture off the trail, it better be kind of level. If it's too steep, I'm excluded here. I think I see an area up here that I've always walked by and somehow managed to go in last time I was here. And to my surprise, there's a very well-known person up here, at least well-known in Rhode Island. And let's see if I'm correct, if this is what I think it is. It's a beautiful little section anyway. I love to see these just these unique kinds of stones. You've got this sort of very flat stone here with just nice typography on it. You know, really nice slate, very gray, almost granite looking. But yeah, really more slate. Some nice Celtic looking designs again. And then up here, yeah, so this is the Chafee family plot. And they've got some beautiful stones here again. You've got lighthouse scene and just really nice birds and pine needles. You get these fantastic patina on here, some musical notes and pine cones. Just a nice green, purple, gray slate. Same thing here. Beautiful colors. It's nice to see this kind of marking of time on these stones. Chafee family. And then the patriarch is over here. And he's got his flags. Must have been for President's Day or something that they put the flags out. Senator John Chafee, October 1922. October, 2 days after his birthday, 1999, 77 years old. And his wife, who died not too long ago in 2000. So Senator Chafee, he was the Commodore or the Secretary of the Navy in the 60s, 50s or 60s. And then he was a U.S. Senator. And he did a lot of environmental stuff. He was a Republican. Very nice man. I met him when I was in high school. As one could do back then. Maybe one still can. I don't know. I've not attempted to meet senators. I'm trying to think who even the senators are now. Sheldon Whitehouse. And maybe Jack Reed is still senator. But back in the day, it was Chafee and Pell. They were senators forever. And so they were well known. These were national figures. Pell especially, everybody knows the Pell Grants. And I ran into him several times. He would just be at the public library. You know, he was a regular citizen, regular guy. And then, of course, John Chafee's son, whose name is escaping me right now. That's really bad. Because I met him several times as well, and he was governor. Though that not a very... and he was a senator as well. I want to say Sheldon, but his name was not Sheldon. I can't think of his name right now. Lincoln. Jeez. Lincoln Chafee. Nice guy. Very nice guy. Very nice people in general, the Chafees. And, you know, I have been to this cemetery more than 100 times. And I only ran across the Chafees, the Chafee family plot there maybe a month ago. So it's an interesting hilltop grave. A lot of good landscaping here. I don't know who designed it. It's not Olmsted, but it's a kind of a place like that. Unless it is Olmsted. I don't think so, though. I'd have to look that up. I think Olmsted came after. This place is older than that. Going up through the center here. Seeing flags, which, you know, is just military. Not necessarily governors. For governor, you're going to have a big round plaque. And usually we'll have a state and an American flag. A lot of graves here from turn of the century. A lot of folks who died around 1900, 1910, I'm seeing, late 1800s. So it's all filled out over here. To the north is a newer section. People are still getting buried here. I see cemetery ceremonies or burials here regularly. Captain John Reynolds, fairly prominent stone. That may be the one from Bristol. There's a Reynolds School. Again, beautiful stones here. Love the slate smoothness. And there are some really strange stones in here, like that pyramid we saw earlier. Some that just don't fit. I don't mind. I want a stone to have unique characteristics, but it should also kind of fit the time period and the style of the stones nearby. There's some round ones. There's some here that are almost modern art. Corporate logos I've seen. There's all kinds of stuff here. But to me, this is a 19th century cemetery, early 20th. So that's the time period the stones should reflect. Say 1850 to 19 to the war, basically, so 45. Anything too modernist is going to be a little out of place here. But there is, this in the newer section, that's fine, I think. But, if you've got a family plot in the middle of all this Victorian grandeur, it doesn't make sense to drop some postmodern stone in there just because you want to stand out. Pine cones over here. This tree has dropped every one of them. Holy cow. It's going to need some cleaning. I don't know if I'm going to run into Lovecraft today. It's not so impressive. I see a governor. I think this might be Dorr. Over here, I guess I'll cut through. Flat enough. Yep, Thomas Wilson Dorr. So that's worth looking up. Read about the Dorr Rebellion. Big part of Rhode Island history. Let's just see when he was governor. People's Constitution, it says. Doesn't say when he was governor. That might be part of the whole thing. Just says 1842. So not more than a year for him. And I'm sure that's part of the whole story. More Brown family plots. Whether they're related to the Brown University folks, I don't know. You'd have to look them up all individually. These families all get pretty big over time. The Henry family. Here we have another governor coming up. I want to say this is like a kind of a whole family of governor, and somebody's parked over here. Let's just see anyway. This one's got the broken vase stone. Elisha Dyer. George Rathbone. It's the broken vase. So we've got Governor Elijah Dyer, 1857 to 1859. And then behind Elijah, it's him again. Or it's his son. Yeah, 1897 to 1900, so it must be Elijah Jr. And he was the mayor when he died. So, Rathbone Dyer. Family of governors. Nepotism. Like the John Quincy Adams, George Bush, George W. Bush. Political families. Who do we have here now? Governor Hoppin. William Warner Hoppin, 1854 to 1857. And his family. Frederick Francis, Frederick Street Hoppin, Clara Tracy Hoppin, Constance Burlingame Hoppin. Whole family. Hi there. That's one thing about Lovecraft. If we get to it, it's H.P. Howard Phillips. And so he is in the Phillips family plot. Kind of back over here by the water again. And it's creating a little bit of a breeze, which I know makes a problem for the microphone. I'm a little quieter in here than I was in the other cemetery I visited and made a video. Just something about the place itself is quieter. I don't have the noise of the city behind me. I'm a little leery of walking on the grounds here with the digger I took. But this is an interesting set of stones here, like a little tree branch, tree stump, and cross. Maxfield. Also just trying to generally keep my shadow out of it. That's, you need the sun at your back to get a good image. Owen family plot. And up here is this big round, which is the Sprague family. That's an interesting story. Amasa Sprague. These people owned, I think it was a print works, some kind of factory in Cranston, Providence line, and they were politically involved, and there was assassinations. These are good stories that need more exploration, because when it comes to 19th century America, the Old West gets so much attention, but it's one reason why I really love the movie Gangs of New York, because it shows New York City in the late 1850s, 1860s, Civil War, 1870s, and that's really cool. You want to look into the history of these, what were the 13 colonies, and how the big cities, Providence, Boston, New Haven, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, stories in these cities where there was kind of lawlessness. There was a lot of ethnic rivalry. Just like in the Gangs of New York, you had your nativists, people who were descended from folks who fought in the Revolution. So here's this Sprague tomb. And this goes all the way around here. And Amasa, that's a great name from that time period. Amasa Sprague. Again, beautiful trees. But I forget the exact story of what happened with Governor Sprague's brother. There was some kind of political or company rivalry, and his brother got assassinated in the melee. So Governor Sprague's got this elaborate thing here. Let's see what we got. Governor William Sprague, 1860 to 1863. So exactly the time of the Civil War. So very much Gangs of New York. Time period, and you can see Amasa is memorialized down here. this Massa Sprague. And my spidey sense is tingling a little bit about Lovecraft, but we're not quite on top of it. It's just that we've got some Phillips family plots here. Oak Avenue. Just reading the sign there, Thomas Phillips. So getting into some Phillips content. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not too far from here. I'm just going to go up to this. I feel like he's up here. Again, not that it's much to look at, but just to, if I can find it, just to kind of get the mystery out of the way. I'm sure other people have photographed it or taken video, posted it. Well, we're kind of right in the center now, just a little bit east of the center of this place. It's warming up, I gotta say, for February. This is a warm day. It's got to be in the 50s. All right, let's see, where are we? Mount Moriah Avenue, Magnolia Avenue. Could be anywhere, you know, it's so easy to, it's like a maze in here, so unless you bring a map or use some kind of guidance on your phone, just try to wing it like I'm doing. You have a hard time. That's okay. We'll just keep looking at other folks here. Tillinghast, that's a well-known Rhode Island family there. Some of the original settlers of the city of Providence. That large one is a Tillinghast back there. And there's a lot of Tillinghast stones in the cemetery. Some beautiful statuary up here. Go take a look at that. Sweet, Walter Sweet, William Wilkinson. Not sure what he's about, but quite the stone. And then there's a whole kind of family plot up there. Pretty sure I'm well past Lovecraft now. I totally missed him somehow. That's okay. Another time. He was back there where my spidey sense was tingling. He was probably towards the river more. Anyway, to some degree, too much is said about him anyway. Statues, plaques all over the city. I guess he had a significant impact, but, you know, anybody who knows anything about him knows that he was not a great guy. He was of his time. Now this is Sales. This whole kind of structure here for Frederick Clark Sales. This kind of Greek temple. A little overdone for my taste, but well, people are going to do what they're going to do. And the thing I like here is just the patina on this these copper slabs. Really fantastic for the whole Sales family. And then you've got this contemplative statue. It's got a lot going for it. And across the way we have Olney, very large Olney monolith for the Olney family. They're in West Providence. There's Olneyville. I'm sure that's probably some manufacturers. I'm sure that's the family. Getting a little cloud coverage now. And a little windiness, which I gotta watch out for. I don't want to talk when it's blowing hard. It just cancels it out. Serpentine Ave, Maple Ave. So down here somewhere, again, I don't like to prefigure any visitations, but we're pretty far north here. We're almost at the northern edge. So somewhere to the south of me, I think not too far, is General Burnside of the Civil War. And his one's a little hard to find too, because it's not like it says Burnside. He's in another family plot. I want to say it says Bishop. And that might take a hot minute to find. Because I see we are down here at Waterman, which is another prominent Providence name. Another family that would have had an original tract of land. And he's got a massive stone here and whole section. Let's go check out Waterman for a second. A Norway maple. And another Taft. One must have been related. Harry Taft, World War II guy. Possibly related to that governor that we saw. That's a little unusual. I got to go back there. I never noticed this before. This guy's got an upside down stone. I'm not sure how that happened. I've never seen that before. That's not a good sign. 1840 to 1909. Herbert George McKinney. What happened there? Just careless. That should be on its back. Maybe they're fixing it. I don't know. But it should be down like those right there. I don't know why that's poking up. Maybe they're restoring it. But that does sound a good look. Yeah, it's squishy over here. I don't want to ruin the land. So here's this Waterman section now. And the cool thing about this is if you go back here, again, we're back to the river. I don't want to go too far out because this gets steep over here. Little jump. So here we have, I think, another nightingale with this bronze statue, which has obviously been restored recently because it's no patina whatsoever. Maybe a little bit. Or is it copper? I don't know. My metallurgy. Well, that's another nightingale stone. Nina, wife of S.A. Nightingale. That's something to look at. I go slow so my camera don't freak out. And so yeah, the cool thing is you can come down here now, and there's a whole other section Not exactly steps, but it's kind of steps. So this looks like it's under some renovation. Webster, George Kendall Webster. No idea. Nice patina again. And then down here now, we have the Aldrich family plot, which is like a whole section. And just some beautiful colors down here. Beautiful cedars, beautiful moss. And Lucy Truman Aldrich here has a really beautiful setting. Nice stone, these beautiful emerald leaves, kind of a rose-colored stone. She died in 1955. She was what would we say, a philanthropist, I guess. She inherited the wealth of the Aldrich family and spent it accordingly. And this family got married into the Rockefellers. And you can see the whole, all down there, these are all Aldriches. But this is the patriarch and matriarch here. Somebody left a nice fake blue flower, blue rose. Abby Pierce Aldrich and the patriarch Nelson Wilmar Aldrich. He was a Republican senator at the turn of the century, very powerful. So worth looking into. So these are all of his children and his siblings, his children, his grandchildren. They're all here, and they've got this elaborate entrance, which I'm exiting. But now we're going uphill. So I'll point that to the side so I'm not quite in the sun. And you get a look at some of the stones there. Another beautiful staircase here. I guess this was sort of the back way into the Aldrich, or no, this is the Kendall, whatever, I forget his last, Webster. That's a great staircase. Look at that moss. It's going to be slippery though.